Good morning, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X. And unfortunately, no Ish this morning, but as always, I am here to give you guys what y'all need for this week 8 preview show for the Sunday slate of NFL games. As always, if you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast and also hit that like button on Facebook as well. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and as well hit that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future. And as well, if you are on Twitter, check us out on Periscope at X Talking Ish and as well X underscore Williams 81. My apologies, couldn't get that out there because I'm trying to retweet it at the same time. So my mouth is just flipping all over. But anyways, like I said, you guys are here for the Week 8 pregame show. Of course, Thursday night had the Bills and Buccaneers. We will recap on Tuesday to talk about that game. We're, of course, here in almost, technically, if this was before we extended it to 17 games, this would be midway point of the NFL season. We would talk about, of course, midseason awards, but we'll wait until next week to talk about first half winners, first half losers, surprise teams, things, all that fun nature of the first half. We'll talk all about that next week. This week, of course, we will get into the slate. More games this Sunday than in comparison to last week. A lot of teams on bye weeks. I want to say up to 6. It was either 6 or 8 teams last week that were on byes. This week, we have a lot more teams coming back to the main stage on this Sunday afternoon. Now, before we get into the thick of things, I want to make sure everybody knows that we're definitely showing off some betting picks for today. Last week, I didn't get a chance to throw them out there because, of being honest with you, I was kind of disappointed. I felt like some of my picks just weren't hitting. I had to go ahead and take a week off, but I'm back. And I feel like I got the 6-leg slate that will allow myself and people that's out there that's tuning in to win a little bit of money. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the thick of things. Let's go ahead and get right to the Patriots and the Dolphins, a AFC East matchup once again. And if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn these teams just played just a couple of weeks ago. And I'm going to double check this schedule. And yes, they did play on September the 17th. I was going to say, I'm not mistaken. Yes, they played in New England, and the Dolphins won that game 24-17. And when the Patriots come down to Miami now, the running joke about the Patriots coming to Miami for the last 5 or so years, the reason why they don't win in Miami is usually because the night before they have a nice little time out in Miami. And it's not just the Patriots. If you actually look around all the sports, football, basketball, or baseball, that's one quote unquote home field advantage that Miami has over a lot of different sports cities is the nightlife. The nightlife will definitely get you. I've heard plenty of stories about Miami and the things that go on there. And besides the nightlife, I just honestly think the Patriots are just not good enough to be able to beat the Dolphins at home. I feel like if the Patriots were going to split this series, it would have been in New England. You were going to find a way to win that game at home, but just the way that the Patriots have played, yes, they got them a win last week. Obviously, I picked them. I picked the Patriots to win that game due to the history that Bill Belichick has. And then also, of course, his 300th win. Now that the dust is settled when it comes to getting Bill Belichick his 300th win, time to get back to reality. And reality shows that the Patriots are not better than the Dolphins. So I have the Dolphins winning this game. Unfortunately, I don't have Ish's picks at the moment. So I'm assuming he might be going to Dolphins as well. Who knows? He might pull the upset and take the Patriots. Dolphins are an 8.5-point favorite. So, hey, if you want to go that upset route, that could be a nice little money in your pockets if once the game is over with and the Patriots are able to get that upset. Now, again, it's football every weekend. It's football. One thing I will say is upsets will happen, no matter if it's college or in the NFL. We just, as of course, the viewers have to figure out where that upset is going to come around. Some of these sleeper games, and we'll get into a little bit later, could be on upset alert. I honestly doubt it. I just look at some of these better teams like the Eagles or the Ravens. I think that they take care of business and don't play with their food, as I like to say a lot of times on this show, and take care of business in their game. So let's get into the Jets and Giants battle of New York or New Jersey, depending on location wise. You want to talk about that? Both of these teams, man, if I'm being completely honest with you, very disappointing so far in the first half of the season. I know obviously the Jets had aspirations of making it to a Super Bowl, obviously with a different quarterback at the starting position right now, and just got to roll with the punches. And Zach Wilson obviously is back at that quarterback helm after Aaron Rodgers being hurt since the first drive of the NFL season. They've been able to steady the ship. They are 3-3 at the moment. Again, I'm pretty sure most Jets fans will like to be rather 5-1 or even 4-2. But you play the hand that you're dealt with. They are 3-3, and you still have a second half of the season. And the Jets last year, they played really well in the second half last year. I wouldn't surprise me at all if they do the same thing. Again, this is a 49ers kind of model team, of course, because Robert Slade relationship with the 49ers organization. If you look at that coaching tree with D'Amico Ryans in Houston, or obviously Mike McDaniel in Miami, some of these coaches, if you look at the way that they try to develop their team, it seems like they want their team to be a better second half team. Now, and I'm talking about Miami. Miami needs to pick it up a little bit, but the Jets, like I said, they kind of proved it last year. Let's see if they could do it again this year. Let's see what the Texans do with D'Amico Ryans and see if they're able to be a stronger contender in the second half. Let's see what happens with that. But for the Giants, I mean, if Brian Daboll didn't win Coach of the Year last year, he might be on the hot seat for this upcoming season. Now, again, I understand things change season by season. Just because you were Coach of the Year last year doesn't mean your ass can't get fired this year. Not saying that at all. I just think that with the Giants organization, they're kind of locked in with Daboll and Daniel Jones for at least a couple of years, and they have to figure it out. If they don't figure it out, then the Giants are just gonna have to sit on something for like 2 years until they figure out how to maneuver through the books when it comes to either getting a new coach or, of course, a new quarterback. Kind of the same situation going on in Vegas with the Raiders with Josh McDaniels. A lot of people want Josh McDaniels gone, but the Raiders really just can't afford it. So some of these teams are really sitting on a rock and a hard place, and it'd be interesting to see how the Giants finish out this season because right now, again, they are 2-5, and it's just has not been what I'm expecting Giants fans thought this season would go. So it'd be interesting to see how this second half plays out for them. As you can see, I am with the Jets this Sunday. I'm pretty sure, again, my boy Ish is probably rolling with the Giants, maybe for his boy Danny Dimes, but knowing him, he is a sensible man. He will, majority of the times, pick the right team. I'm expecting for him to go with the Jets this game. Fracture Wanna says, Jets should roll, but I got the score as 24-21 Jets. Now, I 1,000,000% agree. I don't think this is a game where the Jets roll like 38-6, but who knows? Maybe they do. That's why they play the game. But I definitely agree that this game will probably be like the point spread indicates, a 3-point spread. I think it'll be a close game throughout the most part of the game. Two basic, boring-ass New York teams fighting it out until nobody really wants to play football anymore in that New York region. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Jaguars and the Steelers. And when I think of this matchup, honestly, I go all the way back to the AFC Conference Championship game back in 2017 when Jaguars at that point in time were one of the top teams in the AFC, of course, obviously led by Jalen Ramsey. And I know you haven't heard this name in a while, but Mr. Blake Bortles leading the helm and getting the Jaguars to an AFC Championship game appearance against the Steelers. And we know how that all played out. The Steelers was able to take care of the business there. But 2023 now, this is a new day. This is a new Jaguars team. It's also a new Steelers team as well, too. And the way that the Steelers have been performing this past season is very up and down, very mediocre. Now, the record itself is 4-2. And if I'm being honest, and we have, of course, our Steelers fan that's on this show on the recaps. We had him last week, of course, Andrew Lunsford. We have him on a couple of times throughout the season. If you're a Steelers fan, honestly, the standard is not being held to where the standard needs to be, and that's either with Mike Tomlin, that's with the fan base, that's with the coaching, that's with the ownership. I just feel like there's something missing in Pittsburgh. That's something that Adrian and I have talked about for the last month or so. Um, and if I'm being honest with everybody that's paying attention right now, I'm really just not understanding this Mike Tomlin. I wouldn't even call it hate. I guess just confusion on what he really is as a coach. Because over the last 10 years or so, I mean, everybody have talked very highly about Mike Tomlin and how great of a coach he is and how he's this and how he's that and how everybody would want him to be their head coach. Maybe not every team, but majority of teams in the NFL would like to have Mike Tomlin as a coach. Now, over the last couple of years or so, don't get me wrong, the Steelers haven't performed the way that they should, either in the playoffs or just either in the season in general. But if you have a head coach that's been in your organization for 17 years and he has not had a losing season, is in the playoffs majority of times and now has won one Super Bowl, most franchises like myself, like a Tennessee Titans fan, would be ecstatic, would want you to stay there forever, if I'm being completely honest with you. But the Steelers organization is not the Tennessee Titans organization when it comes to the standard, when it comes to the amount of coaches they've had in just their 60 to 70 year period with only just having 3 head coaches. So I completely understand the house is burning type of mentality in Pittsburgh. But again, the record is 4-2. You're still in the thick of things in the division. Anything can happen in that division. We talk about it every week here when it comes to these teams beating up on one another. Maybe the Steelers can find a way in the second half to slip into not just a playoff spot, but maybe even win the division. It's really the Ravens' division to lose at this point. Depending on how they play in the second half of the season, I think it's really obviously the Ravens. Depending on how you look at the next 2 teams, the Bengals and the Steelers, I mean, you can look at them both being the same. You could put one over the other, but the second half for these teams in the AFC East is going to be, AFC North, my apologies, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. But for today, I actually have the Jaguars winning this game. I feel as though anytime I pick the Steelers, which I've done before, they usually lose. So let me do some reverse psychology on these picks and see if I pick the Jaguars, maybe the Steelers might win. So shout out to the Steelers. But I just think overall for the Jaguars, what they come in with as a team, I think they are a little bit of a better team overall, offensively and defensively. So we'll see how that all plays out. But to end my rant about Mike Tomlin, when it comes to a lot of people, especially in Steeler Nation, are starting to see him as more of a glorified cheerleader, a guy that's just there to usher on this young talent and not really help it develop and get better. Is really mind-blowing. So if Pittsburgh, I'm just throwing this out there, if y'all tired of Mike Tomlin, y'all more than welcome to alley-oop him over here to Tennessee. We'll put Vrabel in the defensive coordinator position and we'll get Vrabel out of that. I don't care. I don't give a damn. We might need to change the same way that the Pittsburgh Steelers might need to change as well. Just throwing it out there. All righty then. We have the Falcons and the Titans playing tonight, or playing this afternoon. And of course, if anybody has been keeping up with this game, this is the first of 2 games where the Tennessee Titans will be wearing the Houston Oilers throwback uniforms. I don't know why I gotta keep explaining this jersey nonsense to Houstonians or anybody else that don't get it, but I'm not gonna do it. To be completely honest with you, I'm not going back and forth with y'all. Y'all know good and damn well that the Oilers are that the Tennessee Titans are the Houston Oilers. They are not associated with the Houston Texans. Again, I don't know why in the hell I got to keep reminding y'all people out here in this world, but I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. So with that being said, yes, I am biased today. Yes, I will say straight up, yes, I am biased, and yes, I will pick the Tennessee Titans to win this game. Not because the Falcons are a bad team, not because the Titans are a better team, because being honest with you, I don't know what the hell we about to get today. We have Will Levis starting, and most likely you probably might see Malik Willis in there as well too. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I don't know. I'll be completely honest with you. But maybe we can have a situation kind of like the Chicago Bears with their rookie quarterback to come in. Mr. Baggett came in and played well, played okay for allowed the Bears to get them a win. The Falcons defensively throughout the air is actually a pretty decent team, especially with AJ Terrell holding things down in the secondary. So if I'm Will Levis, I think this is a great opportunity. And again, I talk a lot about this with Ish that's on the show and also with Adrian Lunsford. When you are a rookie or just a guy that hasn't been able to play yet, and this is your first time playing, no matter if you're a second year or third year guy, some teams don't have a lot of tape on you, right? So when you don't have a lot of tape on somebody, you're able to get away with certain things. And I'll give you a prime example. A guy like Brock Purdy. We talk about Brock Purdy a lot, him playing well in the system, him being a really good quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, all that blah, blah, blah. He's had a full season under his belt so far to be able to play quarterback at this number one position. Now, teams, you have them actually being able to scheme against Brock Purdy to be able to make sure that he's able to throw in windows that he thought were there and that they're not there anymore. So I think for right now, if you're Will Levis, you're able to take advantage of some of these base defenses that you might see. He might not see a lot of these zone blitzes. He might not see a lot of these corner blitzes, things of that nature that make it a little bit more difficult for a rookie quarterback. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they're doing anything on the defensive side of the ball for the Falcons. There might be a lot of stunts and twists on the defensive line side that confuses the offensive line that will end up Will Levis being sacked. That's what I could see more so than anything for the Falcons. If I'm a secondary, hey, I just play base and just allow Will Levis to throw me the ball. That's the type of defense that I'm going to play, at least in the first half. First half, we see what happens. After that, we make adjustments if need be, and then we'll go from there. Let's go ahead and get into the comment section for Fracture One. He says, it's not our colors. I don't know why the fans won't let it go. Oh, I know why. But we'll leave it at that. Fracture One says, the Mayo train getting warmed up. Yes. And if I'm being honest with you, I really thought Ish was going to be on this morning because I know he wanted to talk so much and be so right about all three quarterbacks playing this year and blah, 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 blah. So yip-de-doo for Ish. He gets his one little bold prediction correctly and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to see it. I never wanted to see it, but as always, I'm not in charge. So nobody listens to me and nobody cares about my opinion. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. Now, if everybody knows so far, Panthers haven't won a game yet. I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. And for my Texan fans, y'all are not going to be too happy with me, and I completely understand. But this is one of those trap games. I was talking to my wife about this last night. I have a premonition. Like it just came to me last night. Obviously, going into this game, there's going to be a lot of hype. Obviously, number one, number two quarterbacks being drafted last year. CJ Stroud has been playing lights out the last 6 weeks of the season, last 6 games of the season for the Texans, and at this point, probably is a better quarterback than Bryce Young. And I'm not trying to compare or deny or any of that stuff. I'm just saying after overall play, you probably want to give the edge to CJ Stroud. So going into this game is easy to give the nod to CJ Stroud and also Houston Texans. But I think that actually plays into the favor of the Carolina Panthers, because if you going into this game knowing that, and I'm not even saying like the pressure is on the Houston Texans to win this game. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think this is a game that's going to allow Bryce Young to play a lot more relaxed than he ever has before. I've watched Bryce Young since high school perform, and anytime there are situations where the lights are the brightest, he plays that much better. And I think for this game, again, just this game, I think Bryce Young performs well. I think that the Panthers actually find a way to get their first win of the season against the Houston Texans. And we will get a chance to watch these two quarterbacks battle it out. And I think both quarterbacks put up really decent lines. I just think for not just for Bryce Young's confidence, we also for the Panthers, they got to get their confidence up too. Because I don't expect this team to go over. I don't expect them to go over 17. They're not going to lose every game. They got to get them a win. And I think for today, this might be their opportunity to get them their first win of the season. Let's get to the comment section. And of course, like Coach T said, and like I've said it already, yes, Stroud probably is better than Young. But again, let's see how this all plays out. I've seen it where rookie year, you see one guy perform better than one guy. Like, I'll go with basketball. Remember, a lot of people use Carmelo Anthony and said Carmelo Anthony had a better rookie year than LeBron James, right? And we saw how that all played out. So let's see what today brings us, and then we'll see how this all plays out. Dominique Powell says, keep pounding. Of course, my Panthers fan out there in the world, Fracture Walnuts, says CJ about to prove why he should have been the number one pick. Okay, again, I think this is going to be a very interesting game because I think it could go all of those ways. I think the Texans could go in there and blow the hell out of the Panthers. I really do. I don't see the Panthers really just demolishing the Texans, but I will say this, and I'll follow this up later on when I throw out my bets for today. Watch out for Tank Dell. Today is Tank Dell's birthday. So don't be surprised at all. If I'm a betting man, you might want to look out for that CJ Stroud and Tank Dell connection because it could be, and it probably should be a little bit more deadlier this week than it has been in prior weeks. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Rams and Cowboys. Cowboys coming to this game as a 7-point favorite. So what does that mean? To me, that means that there's going to be some type of okie doke, and I'm going to go ahead and just pull the rabbit out of the hat. I think the Rams are going to find a way to come into Arlington and upset the Cowboys. Not because the Cowboys are a bad team, not because Cowboys find ways to lose games that they shouldn't have, and this is probably going to be one of those games. But I just feel like the Rams are trying to find their stride now, especially with Cooper Kupp coming back, and I think with Matt Stafford probably hearing all of the blue face noise from his wife all week long. I think he goes into Arlington and finds a way to beat Dak Prescott in a shootout. Wouldn't surprise me at all if this game is in the mid-30s for both teams. If I'm looking at the over-under for this game, let me look at it right now for everybody. Over-under for this game is 45.5. Take the over. Take the over. That's just me on that one. The Cowboys defensively, though, yes, again, the record shows 4-2, no issues there. But I'm more concerned, again, when it comes to the subtraction of Trayvon Diggs. Yes, passing yards allowed, they only give up 192. That's obviously less than 200 yards a game through the air, which any defense would love to be able to produce on a week in and week out basis. But one thing about Matt Stafford, he's seen it all. He's done it all. He's been in the league for 15 plus years now. And I don't know if the Cowboys are actually going to be able to throw something his way that he hasn't seen before. The only person I think that can change the way Matt Stafford is going to go out there and perform is of course, Micah Parsons when it comes to him being a wrecking ball on that defensive side of the ball. Other than that, I think the Rams are going to take care of business, and not just take care of business. I think they're going to take care of business pretty handily as well, too. Let's get to the comment section. Coach T said he's talked about, of course, Nuka. Is it Nuka Puka or Puka Nuka? Let me double check his name. I know that he's out there balling. Let's double check. Yeah, Puka Nuka. He out there balling again. Rookie season. We know how it is. Anytime a rookie comes in and performs a certain way, let's see if this is something that can be on a consistent basis moving forward. Maybe these two receivers can be. Puka could be what Robert Woods was at one point in time for the Rams, and help usher in the next generation of receivers for for the Rams and them. Now let's think about it as well too. Let's think about it what too. Matt Stafford on his last leg. How many more years does Cooper Kupp have left? The Rams are they're going to be in a transitional phase as well too. Aaron Donald. I'm surprised if anything, Aaron Donald hasn't been traded yet. I thought he would want to go somewhere and maybe contend for another ring. Maybe he just retires as a Ram and probably be one of the greatest Rams ever. That decision might happen over the offseason as well too. The Rams are going to have to figure out something real quick when it comes to how they're going to look. There were just talks just within the last year or two of McVay talking about retiring, right? I mean, a young coach, not even was it just young 30s talking about retiring already. So for the Rams, they're going to have to figure it out too, of what they're going to be doing moving forward, because there are a lot of moving pieces that I don't even know if Sam Greinke, the owner of the Rams, even know what the hell is going to be going on moving forward. So we'll see what happens with that. Also, Coach T says, "Hey, close enough." I know. Again, until I'm getting paid for this, I'll get the names correctly. But for right now, we free balling it like y'all out there as well. So let's get into the Vikings and the Packers NFC North divisional rivalry matchup. I'm not even going to spend too much time on this. I think the Vikings are going to take this matchup here. Now, as you can see, the Vikings are 1-point favored on the road. Doesn't really tell us too much. If anything, it probably should be an even game than anything. But Jordan Love started pretty okay the first couple of games. After that, has tailed off. So for me, I'm very disappointed in the performance over the last couple of games. I'm just going to read off the seasonal stats for Jordan Love: 111 for 193, which completion-wise really is not that bad. Thrown for 1,263 yards, but the biggest issue is 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's the big glaring point, is the 7 interceptions. Again, but when the season started, I mean, he was clean and was being able to distribute the ball out the way that he should as a young quarterback. Last couple of games, have thrown about 5 interceptions, and I know firsthand because I've got a little money on him, and he's hurting my heart in my parlay at the moment. So for Jordan Love, I don't know if this is going to be a bounce back game. This should be, right? You're at home. You're playing against a divisional rival. You played against them multiple times before in the past, where you know them more familiar than you know an AFC team or an NFC team that you don't play every year. But I just don't see this Packers team performing the way that the Packers have performed in the past, if that makes sense. At the moment, they are 2-4. I just don't see them making a run in the second half. I really don't. It's the Lions' division to lose at this point. I think the Lions take the division pretty handily, if I'm being honest. But for the Packers, if we get about week 13, week 14, and we're looking about 3-9, 3-10, about time to get ready for Cancun. Just saying. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Saints and the Colts. But being completely honest with y'all, just looking at this matchup makes me want to throw up, because I don't know what I'm getting from both of these teams on a week in and week out basis. I do not know who to depend on every Sunday. I do not know what I'm going to. This is a box of chocolates type of game right here. And because I have to pick a team, I guess I'm going with the Saints. I'm not confident in the pick at all. If I'm being completely honest with you, I really don't care for this game, because I just I mean, you have rumblings from the Colts camp when it comes to guys like Michael Pittman, feeling as though that he's not being utilized correctly. And one game he's getting 8 passes, the next game he's getting a pass or 2. Obviously, Anthony Richardson is out for the rest of the season with his shoulder surgery. Gardner Minshew is performing the way that I assume Gardner Minshew should perform, which is flashes of good. I wouldn't call it great. Flashes of goodness, and then flashes of there's a reason why your ass is a backup quarterback. Like, there's no consistency from Gardner Minshew. Yeah, he'll go out there and light up the stat sheet, but he'll throw for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, and end up losing the game because he threw for 4 picks. I mean, like, that's the thing with Gardner Minshew is you're going to get this gunslinger, but you're also going to fall victim to the gunslinger mentality of Gardner Minshew. Derek Carr, again, I wouldn't say the same as Gardner Minshew, but just inconsistency when it comes to we just don't know what we're going to get from Derek Carr. Saints fans wanted him to perform better with this team. They assumed people outside of the Saints organization and Raiders organization like myself assumed that maybe he just needs to get out of that black hole, aka the Raiders. Maybe he just needs to get away from there, go to a new place, start over, be able to utilize his skill set with the skill position players around him, and maybe find a second home. Right now, the way that he's performing, he might get his ass kicked out of New Orleans if he finished out this season the way he started out. Now, again, some glimpse of goodness, and then some glimpses of not just Derek Carr, but also sometimes David Carr, dating back to his brother, just how pitiful a performance that the Saints and Derek Carr are putting up. Again, I'm telling you right now, guys, I don't feel confident at this at all. Like I'm really lost for words because the Colts last week. I give you a prime example with the Colts. Last week, you put up 38 points against the Browns. Again, this is a team that don't give up points. The Browns don't give up points like that. Gave up 39 points because they lost to the Browns. But obviously, you put up 38 points as well. But knowing the Colts, they'll come to this game and only score like 16, 18 points. And the Saints will win the game, 21-18. Like, that's the type of game that I expect to happen with these two teams. But, yeah, I just shake my head when I'm looking at these two teams at the moment. Coach T says Packers still hasn't fixed that defense. I do agree with you on that one. I thought they did. Thought they added some pieces, but not at all. Dominique Powell says, yeah, I'm thinking Carr, not it. And Coach T said Derek Carr isn't getting the job done. Maybe Saints should turn to Jameis. Hey, anytime I talk about Jameis, everybody laugh at me, but y'all better start disrespecting that boy. He might want to eat a W. But guess what? I need that man to take me to the promised land. If I got to listen to Preacher Man preach, then I'm going to have to listen to Preacher Man preach. And he's going to take us to victory. I'm just saying. All right, Eagles, Commanders. Look, guys, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is Coach T's team. I'm going to let Coach T have the flow for a little bit. This shouldn't be a game. The Eagles should take care of business. Granted, NFC East division rivals. We know how rivalry games work. We know how division games work. This could be a game where the Commanders slow play. Now, this is how I see the Commanders playing this game out. Obviously, time of possession. Obviously, running the ball, which equals time of possession, and trying to play keep away. That's usually what you do if you are a team that you're coming into a game as a team knowing that the opposing team offensively are pretty damn good. So what do you want to do? You want to limit their possessions, obviously, right? So if I want to do that, I got to make sure that I keep the ball, move the ball, and don't give them the ball back, right? So if the Commanders can do that, I think they can keep it close. But I look at the Commanders kind of like the Colts. I just don't know what I'm going to get from this team on a week in and week out basis. They're not consistent. The Eagles are consistent. Every week we're going to talk about the brotherly shove, right? Every week we already know what Jalen Hurts going to bring tape. Every week we already know A.J. Brown going to catch the ball for 125 yards receiving. We already know what the Eagles going to do. That's called consistency. You might not like the brotherly shove, but guess what? It gets the goddamn job done, okay? So the Commanders really don't have a chance, my opinion. And, of course, looks like Coach T want to bring up old news and hurt my heart once again because we got to stop doing. One thing y'all Eagle fans going to have to stop doing on my damn show, y'all got to stop bringing up Titans players on this goddamn show. Because if y'all do, I'm just going to cry. Okay? I can't do nothing. I can't make change. I don't trade players. Y'all got to stop coming at me talking about, damn, X, why Tennessee Titans do this? You know what? That's a goddamn good question. I don't know, okay? So let me get my emotions out and just rant, and then let me go and sit in my little corner over there and come out with this little fake. I do come out with a little fake, one little tear, and I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna keep it moving. Because guess what? I don't own this damn team. I ain't got no stock in this damn team. I'm just an idiot fan that wants to vote, that wants to root on a team that want to give away two of their top players in the last couple of years on both sides of the ball. But anyways, That's enough of my rants. Coach T says Eagles shows glimpses of that Super Bowl team signing Kevin Byard is huge. Yes. And thanks for reminding me that. At this point, I mean, it's the Eagles and 49ers. Again, I know the 49ers have been sleeping a little bit. I'll talk about them shortly, but y'all name me another team in the NFC that's better than the Eagles at this point. And I'll wait. Coach T says Jalen protect the football. Eagles could get to the Super Bowl. I don't see why they can't. Again, I'm not really worried. I know Coach T and I, we talked about this. I talked about this on the show. I'm not too concerned with the interceptions. I'm not too concerned with the turnovers. Now, one thing that I am a little concerned about is the willy-nilliness with the football within the pocket when it comes to fumbling balls within the pocket. That's not something that I see from Jalen Hurts doing in the past. That's not something I want to see him doing moving forward. There's some interceptions that were just stupid, just like throwing that ball. But because of who he is, the type of makeup that he's had since Channelview being coached by his dad, I don't expect these things to occur second half of the season, postseason, or even in the Super Bowl as well, too. Let's go ahead and move on to the Browns and Seahawks. Now, coming into this game, just looking at it, you're going to automatically assume, Seahawks at home. This should be a dub for the Seahawks. Now, beginning of the season, I would agree with you. I would take the Seahawks as well, too. And now that I'm actually looking at the line again, the line went from actually 3.5 to 4. So the Seahawks went from 3.5 to the line is now 4 now. But with that being said, honestly, I don't give a damn because I'm taking the Browns in this game. The reason for that is because one thing I know about this Browns team is that the Browns defense is going to travel. I expected the Browns team defense to perform well. I expect turnovers from this Browns team against Seattle. Now, granted, Seattle's defense is no slouch at all. Seattle's defense is the second coming of LOB 2.0. Like, we really are watching the next version of LOB, especially with Witherspoon out there. I mean, these young cornerbacks that they have right now it's really mind-blowing because we saw it already with, of course, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, of course, Earl Thomas back in the day, and we didn't think that's something that could be replicated, and it seems like it's going on once again. Like, I don't understand how the Seahawks are able to replicate this kind of the same way with the 49ers and their linebacker schemes. You know, how are you able to get two of the best linebackers every 5 years? That's crazy to me. But for the Seahawks, any other time, they probably win this game. And even with Deshaun Watson being out, like Fracture Wanda mentioned, yes, Watson is out for this game due to his shoulder. I think the Browns find a way to win this game in Seattle. Now, don't go out there and take my word. Go put some money down and be like, damn, if the Browns lose this game, don't be mad at me. I'm just throwing out my opinion. But I'm just saying that I like this Browns team. Now, of course, obviously, they're going to have to address something at that quarterback position when Watson gets back. Obviously, it's Watson's position until he just can't play anymore. But Watson he needs to get this shit together. They're paying him a lot of money to be able to get out there on the field. I am a Watson fan. I understand that might sound upsetting to people that feels type of way about what he does or doesn't do off the field. That doesn't concern me about what I judge him on the football field. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm judging these athletes on what they do on the football field. Okay. And for Watson, he has to be reliable like he was here in Houston because, and again, like I mentioned, I don't care about what you guys do in your personal life, but I saw just a week or two ago when the Jets were on their bye week, you had a New York reporter complaining about Zach Wilson being out and about with his girl throughout the season or during the season and this, that, and the third. I kind of feel the same way with Deshaun Watson in the offseason. Deshaun Watson, I feel as though was doing a little too much hanging out with his girl, especially if you are supposed to be the franchise guy. If you look at guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, first one in, first one out. Again, they have their relationship. That's cool. But we know when it comes to them being franchise guys, what we're going to get from them day in and day out. I don't know if Watson is showing that as he should as QB1 for the Browns. And if he's not able to do that, the Browns are probably going to have to move on from him because this is a Super Bowl defense that you're wasting Myles Garrett time. You're wasting, again, some of these young players like Del Pitt on the defensive side of the ball. You're wasting some of these guys' time to where it reminds me of Tennessee. Tennessee at one point in time, we had us a top 5, top 10 defense, depending on how you want to look at it. And when you have guys like a Ryan Tannehill that's at the quarterback helm, I mean, yeah, he might be a good guy, a good person, but it's about the production on the field. We all play football. We talk about it. We played it since our kids' days. We got plenty of friends that are good people, but if your ass ain't performing on the field, you got to get off the field. Sorry, I mean feelings. The feeling stuff that we don't care about that when it's in the heat of battle when it's time to play. We talk about it after the game. We can talk about your feelings, all that good stuff. But if you're not performing, folks are going to get fired and folks are going to be looking for new jobs. So that's just how I see it on that. Coach T says Browns a feisty. Looks like OBJ. I don't know what that is. That it must be. I don't know if that's emoji or what, but it's feisty OBJ bunch on defense. I don't know. That's kind of cool. I don't know what happened there, but I think the text got a little misconstrued there, but it's all good. Fracture One says Texans at this moment have won that trade with Watson playing. He has had the injuries that keep coming up. I hope he bounces back soon. I mean, yeah, I 1,000,000% agree. Yeah, the Texans have won that trade, and I mean, Deshaun Watson low-key is 1-2 when it comes to being able to get a guaranteed 230. So I guess we all won except for the Browns, but that's not nothing new for the Browns. Let's go ahead and move on to the Ravens and Cardinals. Really not too much to talk about here. Cardinals 1-6. For being honest with you, probably could be 2-5. Probably should have beat the Cowboys. I'm sorry, not the Cowboys. Probably should have beat I'm going to bring the team up again. Give me 1 second. Probably should have been the Giants. My apologies. Should have beat the Giants and probably should be 2-5. But hey, that's here nor there. I'm expecting Lamar Jackson to have a big day. This is one of those types of games where, like I say earlier, with this team and the next team I'm talking about, where you got to take care of your business. You do not play with your food. You are a 9.5-point favorite on the road. Go take care of your business. I've said it week in and week out. Lamar Jackson has played well. He's getting more and more comfortable in this new offensive scheme. There is no reason to even talk bad on Lamar this season. I'm not doing it. Folks that are critical of Lamar are not doing it. So I don't want to hear nothing from the Raven fans talking about how everybody talking down on Lamar and other little crap, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that because that's not what anybody's doing at this point in time. We just want to see consistency from Lamar, not just in the regular season, but also in the postseason as well, too. We want to see him be able to transition his game from the regular season to the postseason. He's one of those quarterbacks that we don't care about what you do in the regular season anymore. It's time for you to perform in the postseason because if you're not performing in the postseason, all these regular season highlights mean nothing, my opinion. But I'm pretty sure other people out there agree with me as well. Coach T says, yes, Lamar is improving from the pocket under Todd Monken offense. I definitely do agree with that. Let's go ahead and move on to the Chiefs and the Broncos. Like I said in the other earlier segment, this is just another team that should take care of business when it comes to not playing with your food and beating this team handily. The Broncos, or as the Chiefs like to call them, the Donkeys, have them a 5-year winning streak over the Broncos now, and I don't expect that to change today, even in Mile High. Yeah, of course, Sean Payton's going to come with the hoorah speech, and we're going to have Russell Wilson rally the boys and rally the troops up and da-da-da-da just to get beat by 35 at home. Like, I just don't see the Broncos really contending. The Broncos on defensively, this is going to be a field day for you guys. I've looked up to the stats, and just to verify, the Broncos are giving up on average 7.9 yards of passing play. Think about that. Okay, so Patty Mahomes, enjoy your time today because this should be scout team type of defense. that you're going to be going up against. Also, the amount of passing yards that the Broncos have given up, they are top 3 in that category with 1,800 yards so far that they have given up. So, again, if I'm Patty Mahomes and if I'm somebody that's a fantasy owner of Patty Mahomes, I'm licking my chops because this could be a very, very good day for yourself. Now, that's one thing that I did not bring up, and I'm happy that you did, though, Fractured Walnut. Yes, today is supposed to be a snow game in Denver. It says running game is going to be key today. I 1,000,000% agree on that one. But for me, that doesn't stop the notion that Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes and they're going to be the Chiefs and they're still going to throw the ball around. So, yes, they will run the ball, but also that means, too, that the running backs, a.k.a. Pacheco, they're going to have to hold on to the ball because that means that folks are going to be punching the ball out a lot more often. And if you're not able to hold on to the ball, your ass will be on the sidelines and they will keep the ball in Patty Mahomes' hands to rather sling that thing than to run the ball. So, we'll see how that all plays out. But yes, snow day type of game. We'll see how that all plays out. Bengals, 49ers. Again, coming into this game, you probably look at this matchup and automatically give the nod to the 49ers. But not so fast, my friends. I'm looking at this matchup when it comes to maybe this might be the game that allows the Bengals to get back on track and maybe make a second half push with Joe Burrow at the helm. Again, coming into this game, the 49ers are kind of limping over the last couple of weeks with their losses. Maybe the Bengals could take advantage of that and find a way to win a game in Santa Clara they're not supposed to. That's why I want to go with the Bengals, and I think that they find a way to get the dub in Santa Clara. And I want to say shock the world, shock the nation, because again, if you are somebody that's watched football, you know that Joe Burrow is that dude. No matter how much you want to deny it and folks want to talk about how he ain't as good as I think he is, no, he's that guy. Okay. I don't know why I got to keep having this conversation with people that don't agree, that don't believe in him, but Joe Burrow is that guy. So wouldn't that surprise me at all if he goes out there 24 for 20, 28 for 300 and 262 yards, probably needs, and then 2 touchdowns, but that might win the game, and that might be enough to allow the Bengals to pull off the upset in Santa Clara. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Let's get to the comment section. Coach T says Bengals will we'll get back on track. I'm picking Cincinnati. Fraction 10 says, if the 49ers lose this one, are you going to start to question? If I'm being honest with you, still no. Mainly because we're still in the first half of the season. And I've stated that last week on the show when it comes to the 49ers are usually, they're usually 3-4 at this point. Like if you go and look at their previous records, sometimes they're under 500. And then they find a way in the second half of the season to make that momentum push and kick everybody's ass in the postseason. So right now at week 8, no, not too concerned just yet. Week 16, week 17, week 18, yes, I would be concerned. But this is a team that I think can flip on that switch, and because of injuries, just like with everybody else. Look, everybody else got injuries. I'm not using the 49ers as a scapegoat to say, oh, well, Debo's hurt and Trent Williams is hurt. And look, if this was just like they played against the Eagles last year, Brock Purdy went down. Guess what, Josh, you got to step up. Next man up. It's football. Nobody feels sorry for the 49ers at all. Just like nobody feels sorry for the Eagles. Jalen Hurts got hurt that same game. So for now, no, not too concerned, but I understand, like Coach T saying, concerned about the defense. I understand that completely. Not going to deny that at all. But I just think this team has been there, done that. I think they have too many veteran guys. I just think they have too many really good playmakers. There are too many level-headed guys, just too many great people at these tough decision-making skill sets, as in GM, head coach, quarterback, defensive end, linebacker. I just feel like they are hitting all the right areas until we start seeing guys like if a Nick Bosa is out for the rest of the season, if a Fred Warner is out for the rest of the season, If a Trent Williams out for the rest of the season, then I'm looking at it like, okay, maybe might need to be some causing concerns for 49er Nation. Let's go ahead and finish it off with our Sunday night football of the game. Why did we think coming into the season that this game was going to be a Sunday night game? Now, I understand, look, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, Justin versus Justin, Justin squared, Justin back to Justin, like whatever you want to bring it up. I don't know what you want to use as a headline for this game. I just know that we're not getting Justin Fields. We're getting Mr. Baggett, who, again, can he replicate that week one performance? I don't know. Maybe. Is he as good as his week one performance showed? Again, maybe. Don't know. But I will say this. If I am Baggett, this is a great opportunity to take full advantage of this horrible Chargers defense. I did talk about how the Broncos defense was horrible through the air just a couple seconds ago. The Chargers are actually worse. They're giving up 1,860 yards through the air, and they're giving up 8.1 yards on average through the air as well, too. So if I'm Baggett, this is a hell of an opportunity to take full advantage of this bad defense. Now, if he's not able to take advantage of this defense, I'm not saying that's going to prove to me that he's not going to be able to perform in this league. That's not what I'm saying, but maybe we need to take a little, step back or two and not crown a rookie quarterback that's coming in for this first time that nobody knows of and trying to make it seem like he's the second coming of Jim McMahon for the Bears. Let's just see how this all plays out. After the 4-game slate that he might play, he might be 1-3, 2-2, who knows? But let's just be real. Justin Fields makes this offense goes. Even with a bad performance of Justin Fields, it's Justin Fields as QB1 for the Bears. There's no reason to even try to argue that until Justin Fields just can't play anymore. And then you have somebody else that comes in and actually finds a way to step up and take that position from him. Coach T says, will Brandon Staley survive another week? If they have to lose to the Bears, I don't know why you still keep him. At this point, it might be some players out there that's purposely not catching some football and purposely making the wrong throws just to say, hey, we might need Coach Staley up on out of here. That's just my opinion. Fraction what else it says, how much are you willing to give up for Chase Young or Montez Sweat? Now, the issue with Chase Young is obviously the injuries. Is can he stay healthy wherever we bring him into? And also for Chase Young, if you bring him in, I think you bring him into a team that's not out, that doesn't put all the pressure for him to be the guy. So if you bring him into, obviously, and I don't want to use these two teams as an example because it wouldn't be fair at all, but the Eagles or the 49ers, he's not looked at as a guy that's going to have to come in there and get double-digit sacks. He's the guy that needs to come in there and just do what he needs to do and let everybody else perform the way they need to perform. He'll be fine. I like Chase Young, counterpart opposite of a guy like an Aiden Hutchinson. I think if the Detroit Lions can find a way to make a move for a guy like a Chase Young or even a Montez Sweat, I think that helps them out tremendously, obviously on the line, but also moving forward for teams to take them a little bit more seriously on the defensive side of the ball because we know Aiden Hutchinson can get to the ball. That's not the issue. The issue is when Aiden Hutchinson is not able to get the quarterback because he's pressuring him and he's now forcing the quarterback to get out of the pocket or move up within the pocket. You still need that second guy to finish off that pressure. And I think, again, maybe a guy like Chase Young could be complimentary to Aiden Hutchinson. So great question on that one, Fracture Warner. Making me think over here because I never thought about the Detroit Lions being a team, but I shocked myself. Maybe that could be a team that definitely could help out not just Chase Young, but also Aiden Hutchinson when it comes to not having everybody focus their attention on Aiden. All right, before we get on out of here for today, though, let's go ahead and get right into If I Was a Betting Man. These are, of course, our prize picks for this Sunday slate prospect promo code is PR-JVA61PN. And of course, that will give you $25 free on your first deposit if you go ahead and use that promo code with us. Now, like I told you guys earlier, this might be an interesting slate when it comes to who I have on this, because of I believe this might be one of the better 6-leg slips that I put together. Now, Will Levis, I do not know what we're getting from him, but I know, like I said earlier, with Baggett and any other rookie quarterbacks that come in and don't have film on them, you might have an opportunity to throw for 200 yards just because. So if the line is at 155, I don't know if Will Levis is only going to throw for 125. He's a gunslinger. He's going to sling that thing no matter if it's intercepted or not. I'm thinking he throws for more than 155. Let me go ahead and, take that over for him. Tank Dell mentioned that it is his birthday today. It went from, the line was at 3.5 at one point in time. It went up to 4. I'll take that 4. I'm thinking he at least gets 4 to 5 catches this Sunday. Kirk Cousins over 1.5 passing touchdowns, meaning that I'm thinking that he's going to throw for at least 2 touchdowns. Derek Carr, we got over 34.5 pass attempts. The main reason why I'm taking that is because he is playing another AFC South team. The last 2 AFC South teams that he played against, he threw the ball for at least 50 times. At least. So I'm hoping that he can at least throw the ball 35 times. Also, Patrick Mahomes, over under 25.5 pass completions. Not passes, but pass completions. I'm thinking there are going to be a lot of dinking and dunkings, because we talked about, of course, the snow. Might not be too much down the field throwing. And, of course, watch out for that safety blanket, Mr. Travis Kelce. He'll be right there to help him out with those pass completions. And like I talked about with Lamar Jackson, this could be a very, very big game for Lamar Jackson on the fantasy side of things. I got him over 22.5 fantasy score. I think he gets it done in the air and also on the ground as well, to where I think he shatters that 22.5. Wouldn't surprise me at all if it's 30, 35 fantasy points for Lamar. All right, let's go ahead and get to the comment section before we get on up out of here for today. Coach T says, I actually think Levis gives Tennessee a better chance to win. Well, Coach T, I would agree with you if he could actually beat out Malik Willis. That's really my concern. I mean, if you couldn't beat out Malik Willis in the camp, what makes me want to believe that you can come out here and just take over the team and be the franchise guy moving forward? Maybe he's not the franchise guy. Maybe he's just the guy for this year or next year. Maybe. But one thing I do know, Tennessee will be looking for a quarterback in this upcoming draft. And if we do not get a quarterback, or if we do not get who we want to get in this upcoming draft, I understand this is Rand's Carlton's second year as the general manager, but let's just say Tennessee Titans fans are not too happy with some of these moves that have been going on the last couple of years. So, as Coach T said, we will see today, and I definitely agree. We will see how this all plays out. And as always, we will check back in with everybody on Tuesday for our recap show of Week 8. We'll talk about all these games from Thursday night, Sunday night, and, of course, our Monday night football game. Appreciate everybody for tuning in on X Talking Ish. See you guys on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central